And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to be talking to you about Suburbia Incorporated. This is an expansion for Suburbia. It actually doesn't come in a box. It comes with several tile sheets with these rules on top, shrink wrapped. Everything inside fits inside the main box of Suburbia. Now this is, I guess I would call it a small expansion. It adds more buildings and two new features and a few more tiles, but who cares? I really love Suburbia. I thought Suburbia was the best board game, city building game there is. It's a great game and one I really enjoy playing, so I was very pumped about this expansion. Is it as good as I hoped for? Let's take a look at the different parts of it. And first, the buildings. The new buildings that are in the set. Now you can mix these buildings with the old ones willy-nilly, or you can replace some of them, trying to keep interactive ones like the restaurants and the airports still intact, or you can just take out base ones and stick in all the expansion ones. That's what I did in my first game because I wanted to see all the expansion tiles. There's multiple copies of each of the expansion tiles, and I just wanted to quick show you some of them. Now you've looked at the indoor mall long enough, and that's a good one. It increases the value of blue ones. I like that. New construction is fun because it gives you people for each adjacent. I mean, it's a quick fix and basically best used to help out the other green tiles. Investment property. I like the lake house. It has to be next to water, but it really can increase your population growth. It's a very good one. It's expensive, very thematic still. And then we have the light rail. This is increase your income and your population growth for each adjacent green and blue. A very nice one to get. Again, this kind of promotes the multiple colors. The county assessor, which people might fight over because it's a way to get some really quick cash. $2 for each of your yellows, grays, greens, and blues. That's really good. So you'll certainly want to pay and get that one. The redistricting office now adds something that really, the game has interaction obviously by tiles affecting other people's tiles, but this one really is affected by the other players. In the redistricting office, you are stealing 5 people from everyone else's. The cost of this one is variable based on the number of people in the game. So in a 4-player game, it's obviously going to cost $24 to do that. Now this is a great tile though, and in fact in one of my games I was able to win by essentially using this one twice, because stealing 5 people from everyone else, that meant they all lost 10 and I gained 60, which is a lot of people to gain. No, 30, but it's still a lot of people. The law office. Now this one's interesting. It lets you score a tied goal. If you're tied with someone else for the goal, then you are able to score it. And if you double this, you can score 2 of them. Not to mention it also provides you with 2 income. So the law office is a good one to grab. Water purification plant is really great. It adds 7 to your population growth. That's amazing. The problem is it has this cost. It costs 2 for every yellow on the board, both in front of you and in other players. And if you don't have that much money, you cannot build this tile. So it is a great tile, but very difficult because it's super pricey to get on the table. The cemetery is an interesting one because it actually makes you lose 2 population, but then gives you extra income for each adjacent green. It's a great tile. It's very thematic. The redevelopment planner is my favorite tile in the game. You stick it, it needs a whole page of rules for itself, but basically a quick rundown is you buy this, you stick it in your grid somewhere. Later on, you can replace it with any new tile. Doesn't matter what the cost is. The thing is, it has to go in the exact same spot where this is, but still, if you want to get one of those expensive tiles later on, this is certainly a way to do that. And then the final new building is a checkpoint, which gives you 2 for every one of your borders. The game comes with multiple border pieces. These pieces are very large like this. They have something on one side, like this one's an amusement park, and we have train tracks, a sports complex, etc. On one side, they are water, and so at the beginning of the game, you are going to set these up in a pile like this with 3 of them available for purchase. You can buy these and stick them, or you can take the water. The water gives you 4 for each adjacent tile that it's next to, but it can't fit to as many as the regular one. When you add these, you can do all sorts of things as long as they touch a tile. So me putting the beach there is legal, and then later on I can increase how big my thing is town. I could put suburbs there, and then later on I might be able to do this and put a desert here and build more suburbs over here and then stick this like this. I mean, you really can do some really funky building with this. Now, you're still going to try to be optimal in how you build your town, but you can build it in all sorts of ways with different tiles. These just really kind of increase the layout of your town. Now, this does make your town weird, but like I said, you're probably not going to build in this weird formation as you can, but you will be able to do some cool things, and many of these give you a lot of things based on what they're next to. Let's take a closer look. The forest gives you growth for each green, blue, or gray that it's next to. The military base gives you 5 people for each adjacent public building that it's next to. It also gives you some income. The desert, you lose $10 for each building that's next to it, but it gives you 5 income. Is that worth it? Maybe at the beginning of the game, but it's just a very interesting tile, and I like these. As of the beach, which is kind of like the desert, but it's next to the water, gives you population growth, a sports complex, train tracks, and I have to say I really like the artwork on these too. You can see the things like the amusement park. I just always want to build the amusement park just because I want an amusement park in my section of town. It does bring population growth and extra income for each of the green and yellows next to it, but I just like the amusement park. And then mountains, orchard, radioactive waste site will kill people if they're next to it, but wow, look at the income that brings in. The bay gives you lots of money for adjacent things that are next to it, and then a national park. So there's lots of these cool tiles in here, and they really change how the game is played. The game also comes with new gold tiles. A couple of them have to deal with the borders, and then a few of them are just like the most different types of building and the fewest different types of buildings. And the most briefcases, that's one that I'm glad is in the game, because that gives those briefcase things, that makes it a very viable strategy. The game also comes with a new board to replace this one here. This is the original board, and this is the new one that's placed on top of it. Or not placed on top of it, you just use it in replacement of that. And what you're going to do, and after you make your pile of your C buildings and your B buildings, according to the number of players, which is slightly different for this game, on top of this one, you're going to place a face-up bonus tile. So let's say, for example, here, the residential bonus. And then over here, you're going to place a challenge. So perhaps I'll place on top of this here, a population challenge. When deck A runs out here of tiles, and we need to draw from deck B, we look at the residential bonus. In this case, everybody who has at least 3 green tiles gets a bonus of 4 income. Same thing when we get to this deck. Anyone who has at least 40 people in their town will get a population challenge of +2. And there's different ones here. If your income's 5, you get a bonus of 2. If you have at least 2 lakes, you'll get a bonus of 3. If you have at least 3 blues. And then the border, these are very similar. You got a border challenge. If as long as you have 2, your population goes up. If you have at least 5 yellows, your population goes up. And so these kind of give you an idea of something to aim for a quick boost in income or population. This is a fairly small change to the game. These don't change it much at all, but give you maybe a little bit of focus as you go on. Well, obviously, if you love Suburbia, you're going to get this, and I highly recommend that. It's a wise idea. It adds a lot of fun. The new buildings give more diversity. I would buy a box of 100 new buildings. I wouldn't care. The more buildings, the more fun the game becomes to me, the more divergent strategies. Suburbia is a very tactical game. You look at what tiles come up and you work that way. Your bonuses, you kind of aim for those bonuses, but at the same time, those bonus tiles, sometimes just the way the tiles come up, they may or may not work. I do like those border tiles a lot. I think those things are fantastic, not only because they give you more options. Not only can I buy these buildings, I can buy one of the 3 borders. How am I going to place water in this situation? Those are really neat. They make your town cool. I remember having a military base right next to an amusement park. There's lots of different combinations, and I really think it enhances the replayability game and puts it up to 11. I mean, before that, I love Suburbia as it was. I already thought it had a good amount of replayability. With this expansion, it's great. And Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing more expansions for Suburbia, but this one is very satisfactory, and if this was all they ever did for Suburbia, I would still keep it in my collection for a very long time because I enjoy the game that much. The bonus and challenge tiles are okay. I don't mind them. They don't detract from the game experience. They give you something, but they're very minor compared to what the borders and the new buildings add. The development planner, I just love that tile. Love that tile. But this expansion is not difficult. One of my games, I was able to teach brand new players how to play Suburbia with this expansion included, and it was not difficult at all. Very easy to teach that to them. And each tile I just talked about as it showed up, which wasn't a very difficult process. There's nothing in here that I think cranks up the difficulty of the game, and there's just a lot going on. It's a very entertaining game, Suburbia. This game probably pushes my rating of regular Suburbia up quite a bit, and I already thought Suburbia was a fantastic game. So, if you like Suburbia, you've probably already pre-ordered this expansion. If you like it and you haven't, stop wasting time, get on the internet and do it now. I mean, it's really that fantastic. Easy enough to integrate. Once it's there, you'll forget that you played the original Suburbia without it. So, am I raving a bit? Maybe, but it's a really good expansion.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
I'm Ted Alsbach, designer of Suburbia and Suburbia Inc. Suburbia Inc. is coming out this fall, and Suburbia for iPad is also coming out this fall. Be sure to check them out at www.beziagames.com.
Okay, now I want you to say, shut the door.
I don't want to say that!